Welcome to all of you. Myself Dr. Neha Desai from Department of Chemistry, RBNB College, Srirampur. Today we will begin with our next chapter, that is reverse phase chromatography from section 2 of paper number CHA 392. So for reverse phase chromatography we will begin with the principle. So what is the principle for reverse phase chromatography? As all of you know that HPLC is mainly divided into two types, that is normal phase chromatography and reverse phase chromatography. In case of reverse phase chromatography, we can say that stationary phase is more polar as compared to the mobile phase. So for reverse phase chromatography, what you can say, that is when the stationary phase of a substance is hydrophobic one and the mobile phase of a substance is hydrophilic one, then at that time you will call it as reverse phase chromatography. So in case of reverse phase chromatography, we can say that the stationary phase is hydrophobic one and the mobile phase is the hydrophilic one. So this type of chromatography is also known as the hydrophobic chromatography. Here in up to 1970, the most of the times we are dealing with the normal phase chromatography, and nowadays we are dealing with the reverse phase chromatography, which abbreviation is RPC. So for reverse phase chromatography, what are the necessary things? The necessary thing is that in case of the normal chromatography, the stationary phase is hydrophilic while the mobile phase is hydrophobic. But in this technique, the properties of stationary phase are changed. The stationary phase is made hydrophobic, and after that we can start the process of elution in case of reverse phase chromatography. So in case of RPC, what you can say, that is there is a strong interaction between the stationary phase and the different types of solvents in case of RPC. So the interaction is very stronger in such a way that if there is a stronger interaction between your stationary phase and your organic solvent, then your solvent, it will take a more time to separate or to elute from the column. And if it has a weaker interaction, that means if your organic solvent, it is having a weaker interaction with your stationary phase, then it will elute out at first. That means the elution will take place fastly. Means in another terms, what we can say, that when the interaction is stronger one, then the retention time is more, and when the interaction is weaker one, then the retention time is lower. So apart from this, when we are dealing with the stationary phase and the mobile phase, then for reverse phase chromatography we have to always select the silica as a stationary phase. Now all of you know that silica and alumina, these two are the most commonly used stationary phases, but we have to make these phases especially hydrophobic to use it in RPC. So you have to convert it into hydrophobic one. Along with this, what is one more important thing that we can define from the principle of reverse phase chromatography? It is that in case of RPC, if the interaction between the stationary phase and a solvent is stronger, then it is having a higher retention time. Higher retention, that means slow rate of elution. And if the interaction between the mobile phase and a solvent, if the interaction between a stationary phase and a solvent then the retention time is also lower. And rate of elution is fast one. Okay, so this is the conclusion that can be drawn from the RPC. That means if the interaction between the, always in case of reverse phase chromatography, there is a stronger interaction between the stationary phase and the solvent, and if there is a stronger interaction, then it will take more time for the elution because its retention factor is higher one, and when the interaction is lower one or weaker one, then it will take a lower time and the fast elution will take place in case of RPC. Now, apart from this, what we have seen, that is we have to convert this stationary phase such as silica and alumina into the hydrophobic one. So what you can do to convert it into the hydrophobic one? For that purpose, you will attach the alkyl groups. That means the alkyl chains, they are covalently attached to the stationary phase of the RPC. So this is the next thing that we will study. So the alkyl chains, they are covalently attached to the stationary phase. Why it is necessary to attach these alkyl chains? The main thing is that you have to convert it, or you have to make your stationary phase hydrophobic one. So for that, alkyl chains are covalently bonded to the stationary phase so that your stationary surface become the hydrophobic one. Now this hydrophobic substance, it is having a stronger interaction with the hydrophobic or the less polar compound. So what you can say, that is by the attachment of the alkyl chains to the stationary phase, the stationary phase becomes hydrophobic one, and as it becomes the hydrophobic one, it is having a stronger interaction or the strong affinity towards the less polar substances. So it is having a high affinity to less polar substances. So this is the case. Now essentially, therefore, we are using the reverse phase chromatography for the non-polar solvent. So for the analysis or the separation of a non-polar solvent, the reverse phase chromatography is most widely used. Now after studying this different types of the principle or the interaction, what we can say that the concentration of the organic solvent as well as the interaction of the organic solvent with the reverse phase chromatography, it will play a very important role. Now so when you are dealing with the hydrophobic stationary phase and the hydrophilic mobile phase, then you will go for the reverse phase chromatography, and nowadays the RPC is the most frequently used analytical technique, and it is for this a variety of stationary phases are used for the development or for the separation method. So the next point that we are going to study is to study the different types of stationary phases that are used in RPC. So as all of you know that in case of RPC, the silica is used as a base as a stationary phase. So what are the different types of silica based stationary phase? This is our point of interest. That is, you have to carry out the analysis of different non-polar solvents by using the RPC. So the most popular column which is used as a stationary phase in RPC is the C18 bonded column. So C18 bonded column, that is silica is bonded with C18 column, or silica which is bonded with the C8 column. Usually C8 bonded column and C18 bonded column, these are the most widely used columns in case of RPC. Along with it, sometimes the C8 bonded silica or is bonded with the pure silica, sometimes the cyano bonded silica, sometimes the phenyl group bonded silica, So as far as the stationary phases are concerned, in case of reverse phase chromatography, basically all the stationary phase, they are based on the silica. Simply C8 or C18 column, these are the most widely used column. Sometimes it is attached with the different groups, that is C8 column bonded with silica, C18 column bonded with silica, phenyl group bonded with silica, cyano bonded silica. These are the different types of the stationary phases used in case of reverse phase chromatography. Apart from this different types of phases, the surface functionalization of silica is the most important aspect. So surface functionalization is usually performed by using either a monomeric reaction or the polymeric reaction, and therefore different organosilins. These different organosilins, they are used to attach with the different silanol groups. So monomeric reaction or polymeric reaction is usually used for the surface functionalization of the silica, and for that purpose usually the organosilins are used, and these organosilans, they will cover the silanol group, which is the active site present in the silica or your stationary phase. Nowadays, along with these different types of column, what are the modern columns used as a stationary phase in RPC? Some important other columns are the PFP. PFP means PFP, it is also one type of column which is used, that is pentafluorophenyl. Now along with it, the cyano, that is CN group attached to the silica column, then along with it NH2, that is amino. Apart from this ODS, that is octadecyl or C18 column, this is also widely used. So all these are nothing but the different types of column used as a stationary phase in RPC. After studying the different columns used as a stationary phase in RPC, the next important point from the syllabus is to study what are the different mobile phases used in the reverse phase chromatography. So as far as the mobile phase is concerned, generally not a single solvent is used as a mobile phase in RPC. Most of the times you are dealing with the mixture of solvent, or two or more solvents are used in the form of a mixture as a mobile phase. Now for this, we are purposefully using the water miscible solvent. There are two kinds of solvent, water immiscible and water miscible type of solvent. So what are the examples of these water miscible solvent? Before that, what is mean by water miscible? The solvents which are completely soluble in the water, we call it as water miscible, and the solvent which are not properly mixing with the water, we call it as water immiscible type of a solvent. So usually what is the sequence? That is, first is the methanol, after that acetonitrile, after that the ethanol, after that isopropanol, after this dimethyl formamide, after the dimethyl formamide propanol, after this dioxane. So what is it? It is the sequence of different solvents which are used as a mobile phase in RPC as per their decreasing polarity and the increasing elution power. So this sequence is arranged as per the decreasing polarity and increase in the elution power. So most of the times in case of reverse phase chromatography, the non-aqueous eluents, they are needed. That means we prefer to use the organic solvents, but it is not possible for us to use only the organic solvent. At that time you have to consider most of the times the mixture of water and organic solvent. So for water and organic solvent, what you can say that is, as far as the viscosity is concerned, then for water plus organic solvents, they form highly viscous type of mixture, while you cannot use only aqueous solvent or aqueous eluents in case of RPC. Non-aqueous solvent are more preferred to carry out the experiment by using the RPC. So as far as the gradient elution is evolved, the viscosity plays important role. Less viscous solvent are more preferable, but here in this case you are using these different types of organic solvent along with a water. So the mixture of water plus organic solvent, it will form a highly viscous, or it is having a high viscosity. So for that, as compared to the pure compounds, these water plus organic solvent mixtures, they are having a high viscosity. Hence, what are the frequently used mixtures for the RPC? This is our next point of discussion. That is, you are using methanol water, ethanol water, tetrahydrofuran plus water, and acetonitrile plus water. So these are the different organic mixtures that you are using as a mobile phase in RPC. So the maximum viscosity, it is obtained for the methanol plus water system, while the lowest viscosity is obtained for the tetrahydrofuran and water system. So as far as the choice is concerned, then tetrahydrofuran, methanol and acetonitrile, these three organic solvents are considered as a best choice to use as a mobile phase in RPC. So apart from this, what is the usual concentration used? When you are dealing with the methanol and ethanol, you will use 40% of the methanol in water. Again, for the ethanol, you will use a 40% of the ethanol in water. 40% of the ethanol in water means what? It will take 40 parts of the ethanol and remaining 60 parts it will be of water. Similar is the case for methanol. Then for methanol and ethanol, as compared to the methanol and ethanol, for tetrahydrofuran and acetonitrile, these two solvents, they are less viscous and therefore they are more preferred because they are having a lower viscosity as compared to the methanol and ethanol. And always you have to prepare this aqueous solution in terms of the different percentage that are shown. Now what about this water that we are using as a solvent in a mobile phase? Always, as all of you know, that the different organic solvents that you are using in HPLC, for that purpose you are using a HPLC grade solvent. Similar to that, as far as the water is concerned, we have to use the HPLC grade water. Or we have to use a highly purified form of a water which is obtained by the multiple purification system. It is not sufficient to use a water directly from a tap water or to use a single distilled water. You have to always use either a double distilled water, HPLC grade water, or the water which is obtained by the multiple purification system whenever you are dealing with the mobile phase. So multiple stage purification is required for the purification of water. So as you study the point of interest or tetrahydrofuran and the acetonitrile, these two solvents, they are considered as the solvent of choice or solvent of interest as far as the reverse phase chromatography is concerned. So in today's lecture we have discussed mainly about the three points or the three subtopics from RPC. The first one that we have discussed, the principle, that is whenever you are using a stationary phase as hydrophobic one and the mobile phase as a hydrophilic one, then you will call it as a reverse phase chromatography, and reverse phase chromatography is also known as the hydrophobic chromatography. As far as the stationary phase are concerned, all the stationary phase, they are of silica based. C8 and C18 column, these are most widely used, and for mobile phase you are always using a mixture of organic solvent with water. Tetrahydrofuran, methanol and acetonitrile, these three solvents are considered as the solvent of choice to use as a mobile phase in reverse phase HPLC. Now today we will stop here. In the next lecture we will study about the solvent selectivity and their strength. Thank you.